But there's breaking news coming up from the Australian Bureau of Statistics. This is the latest quarterly economic growth numbers. The GDP, let's bring in our business editor, Ross Greenwood. Ross, a pretty buoyant picture has been painted this morning, so we'll see if that number is as expected today.
Yeah, so that's the suggestion that really this quarterly number is going to come in at 3.5%. So there'll be a significant rebound from where it was. We'll bring you the details as soon as they come to hand, as soon as I've got them in front of me. But right now what you've got is, that's interesting to note because the Reserve Bank had indicated for 2021 that in fact the economic growth, if you like, GDP growth would be 5%. And yet it's come, the forecast now is suggesting it's going to come in at 4.1%. So that's going to be the key to watch as this stuff comes through. So it's just interesting to note this. We'll bring you those details as soon as they come to hand. And what we're seeing, not quite yet it's in, but as I say, the important aspect of this is going to be the impact of the lockdowns, the closures, just the way in which that has actually played. The number is about to drop now. And what I can basically tell you is that the latest numbers, as it's refreshing itself, just give me 2 seconds here, Tom, and we'll have it in front of us. So, no, it's still not coming through. So we've got one more go and we'll just have a look and see where it goes to. There's the economic growth there, 3.4% in the December quarter. And so we're starting to see this information coming on through. And so that is in comparison with the 3.5% quarterly growth that was anticipated for that quarter. It's going to also show that the annual growth is going to be sitting around that 5% that has been expected by the markets. And so, Tom, really, it's just one of these situations right now where I guess it is the rebound that many people expected. It's what happens next. It's going to be the absolute key to this as well.
Right, looking at a couple of other figures, household saving ratio decreased as expected because it was at 19.8% to 13.6%. Well, that implies there's a lot more to go in terms of household spending power if they want it. Real net national disposable income as well, rising 1.7%. So for now,
yes,
there is money in pockets to spend, Ross, as long as people are confident to spend it.
Well, one thing here, Tom, remember that the Treasurer has been indicating that there's some $484 billion worth of savings in Australian households right now set to be spent. And so the fact is that when Australians have really been released from lockdowns, they've been prepared to do this. So the other small one here to watch is also the areas where you've actually seen the biggest amount of growth. So I can just show you from what's been going through that over the past year, it's agriculture, forestry and fishing. So we can see here, year on year, the annual economic growth coming in at 4.2%. So that is below where the Reserve Bank had it, but it's pretty much in line with forecast quarterly. It's at 3.4%. Other areas where you've seen big rebounds. So in the quarter, as the economy opened up, yes, affected by Omicron, but as economies opened up, there's been a massive rebound in the contribution to the economy from accommodation and food services, which for the year is actually well down as a result of closures, but for this particular quarter is well ahead. So the other areas that have also improved during this period of time are professional and technical sports, many people working from home, but you've also had big rebounds in, say, transport, postal and warehousing. Now, those are areas which have been down for the year, but are actually going forward for that December quarter. And again, this gives a small indication of some of the improvement that's taken place. The other one that's also worth noting is arts and recreation. So arts and recreation is another one where broadly that total economy or contribution to our economy was negative for the whole year, but indeed for this quarter is going forward. So what it's painting a picture here is as economies, state economies have been released very much from these lockdowns, that you've started to see the spending, that household savings that they have got being spent as people have basically moved out into the economy. And those areas that had previously been draining on the economies have now started to contribute rather significantly and sharply as well.
Very briefly, Ross, what does all this mean for the budget?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, the government is getting the sort of growth that it needs. And of course, with a lot more people employed and those people being half of the tax-paying base or revenue base of the government, this again is good news. It also shows that the Reserve Bank has probably been overly optimistic in regards to Australia's economy, whereas up until now, the Treasury, which does, if you like, the budget forecasts, has been, sort of underestimating the strength, the bounce back of the Australian economy. So it means that really the whole nature of repair to Australia's budget and balance sheet is in place and really can be shown when the budget is handed down in just 4 weeks' time.
Ross, thank you. Yes, not far until that pre-election budget.